Lynd Fruit Farm's been at the corner of Morse Road and State Route 310 in Pataskala for over 100 years now, since 1919. And a lot of people wonder, how did we end up moving to that location? Prior to 1919, my great-grandfather, A.T. Lynd, grew apples in southern Ohio, South Point, Lawrence County, and he and his wife had 6 boys. And there was a day when he lost a team of horses to an accident on those hills, and he was determined in his mind that he was not going to raise those 6 boys on those hills. It's just too dangerous. The second reason that I've heard that necessitated the move to Morse Road and 310 was iron ore was a huge industry in southern Ohio in the 1800s, 1900s, early 1900s. There was a better discovery of ore in Minnesota, and that industry moved from southern Ohio up to Minnesota, and consequently the economy in southern Ohio kind of went down the tubes, and less of a market for the produce that he raised. He knew that if he moved near Columbus, that he would have a market for anything that he grew, and a lot of money in Columbus. So that made it a positive option. The third reason I found out when I was older, and my great uncle Larry shared this with me, and he told me this just a few years before he passed away. But he said, "You want to know why we moved? I'll tell you why we moved." And he was quite an animated guy. He said that Mom, which was my great grandmother, her name was Vesta, Mom would get letters from her sister in Worthington. And in those letters was written the description of the high fashion, the high society. Downtown Columbus had a Lazarus store. The Lazarus store had an escalator. That was a big deal. The Lazarus store had a fish tank with an alligator in it. That was a big deal. My great-grandmother was stuck in southern Ohio with her husband and 6 boys, and life wasn't high society for her. So she continually nagged A.T., my great-grandfather, to the point where he finally said, "You know what? We're packing up and we're going to move." And that's when they loaded up the wagon train with their possessions and their family, and they moved to Morse Road and State Route 310.